In this tutorial, we're going to talk about what a Python statement is and how parameters, specifically the end parameter, can help you communicate your code. Hey, it's Chris with A to C Python Academy with more tips and tutorials to help you be the budding Python developer we both know you can be. Thanks for being here, and if you haven't already, tap that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss a new tutorial. So in our previous video, we spoke about what were comments in the Python language, the different types of comments, and how they are used to help explain how specific blocks of your source code works. If you have not seen that video or would like to revisit that video, I've posted links in the description below, or for your convenience, you can click on the link in the top right of the screen for that video. Also, if you want to watch a specific section of this video, I've included timecodes in the description below. That way you can watch exactly what you need to know. Today will be the first in a number of videos talking about the types of Python statements such as the print statement, the assignment statement, conditional statements, and looping statements. Although in today's class, we're only going to discuss what a Python statement is, how to use a print statement, and also identify its string literals, keywords, and options. Let's get started. So let's first define what a statement is. A statement is a logical instruction which the Python interpreter can read and execute. It's as simple as that. Now, usually this results in some action taking place. Let's keep a specific point in mind though. In future videos in this series, we're going to talk about the term expressions and how they involve themselves in the elements of Python. But I want you to remember one key note when comparing statements and expressions. An expression is evaluated and a statement is executed. Just something to keep in mind. Now let's head over to talk about the print statement. In general terms, a print statement sends data to the display terminal or to another specified print unit. In Python's case, we are sending the data, aka your source code, to a display device. Let's look at the syntax for the Python print statement. It starts with the Python print function, which prints the message to the screen or any other standard output device like your laptop, computer monitor, your TV, or your cell phone screen, which is then followed by a string literal or value enclosed in single or double quotes. In reference to the value entered in the print statement, you can use any value and as many times as you like. Just note that once the statement is executed by the program, the value will be converted to a string before it is printed. As we will see later in this lesson, the print statement can include a number of related optional keyword arguments and options. Options such as the end parameter, set parameter, and new line option. But in this lesson, we're only going to talk about the end parameter. So to explain in simple terms, the end parameter defines what to print at the end of the statement. Python statements are usually written in a single line. By default, a new line character marks the end of the statement. So this is not something you have to continuously code into Python after each print statement. But if the end parameter is used, the default new line character is replaced with the assigned line ending parameter, at which point the second print line continues after that parameter, essentially concatenating it to the first line. Now also note that multiple data types can be assigned to the end keyword, such as integers, strings, and floats. And those data types assigned to the end keyword argument can be of any length. But that's enough of talking about statements. Let's see them in action. So remember, a statement represents an action or a command taking place. So in the example on the screen, we have two statements. The first line is what's called an assignment statement, which we'll talk more about in detail in later videos. This assignment statement includes the variable a, followed by the assignment operator of an equal sign, and ending with the value or the statement, which here is 25. As we look at the second line, we have a print statement. It starts with the print function and instructs the Python interpreter to print the contents of A, which we now know is 25. And so let's run it. And as you can see, we get the output of 25. So what we have is in two statements here. One is an assignment statement and the other one is a print statement. But only one of these lines is actually doing any work, and that is your print statement. This is actually printing out that value. Now the next three print statements, the first line is a print statement, but this is a standard one-line statement. It includes the print function, and inside the parentheses is a string literal or value the function needs to print, which here is hello A to C Python Academy subscribers. Our second print statement is what we call an empty print statement. So as you see here, we have a print statement, but there is nothing inside of the parentheses. Essentially what this does in Python is this tells Python print nothing. So it prints a blank line and goes to the next line. In this case, it's going to print a blank line and go down to the next print statement. So we should have a space here when we actually run this code. Now the third print statement I've listed is the same as the first one above. The only difference is instead of making the phrase one single string, I've separated each object of the string into individual strings. But when I print this, the result should be the same. So if we look here, we have the print statement, and above here you can see I have the entire print statement in one set of quotes. And as you go here, I have the print statement in each individual word as its own set of quotes. So let's go ahead and run this. And so as you can see, what I said earlier is that we have the original print statement here, which is hello A to C Python Academy subscribers. The string is in a single set of quotes. Our second print statement is our empty print statement, which should print a single line. And our third print statement should be exactly the same as the first print statement. The only difference is it's formatted different than the first one. So each individual word is an individual string that is being printed out, but it should be the same thing as our first print statement here. And as we go down here, we see that they're both exactly the same. Now, let's talk about the parameters and options of the print statement. The code below shows an example of the end print parameter. It looks the same as everything else we've seen today, with the exception it has the end parameter. As you see inside the end parameter, there is a single space. Now remember from earlier in our lecture, we spoke about how Python defaults to a new line character at the end of every line. And the way around that would be with the end print parameter. So let's take a look at what we have here. We have a print statement that says, hello A to C Python Academy subscribers. And at the end, we have the end parameter. And inside of that end parameter is an empty space. We have a second print statement here that says, how are you today? Now, let's run this. We see that it prints, hello A to C Python Academy subscribers, which is what the first line says it should print. But the only difference is that normally, like we said in Python, the new line character is automatic. What normally should happen is the next line should print, how are you today? But because we're using the end parameter with a space as a value, what happens here is your end parameter space value, and then it immediately prints the next line, which is, how are you today? Now I want you to take a look at this. If we take away this end parameter here and we rerun this code, you will see what the standard normal action of Python is. Without the end parameter here, what happens is it does a new line character at the end of a line automatically, and it prints the next print statement on the next line, which is what's here. Hello A to C Python Academy, new line, how are you today? So let's look at this next end parameter example. We have a print statement, and then we have hello A to C Python Academy as your string in single quotes. Remember, it could be either single quotes or double quotes. Then we have an end parameter that has a space, and instead of just a space, we have an actual string inside of the end parameter that says the end and period. Now remember earlier when I said that you can have different data types inside the end parameter. So let's go ahead and run this. And so as you can see here, it says hello A to C Python Academy, which is what the original print statement says here. And then we have an end statement that says space, and then it immediately prints the end, period. So this is a little different than the one previous to where we had a second print statement that said the end. We could have done just a space and basically produced the exact same thing, but instead here we put that string inside of the end parameter to produce what we see in front of us. So our next example here, we have a different version of the end parameter. We have the same print statement, print hello A to C Python Academy subscribers. And then we have an end statement that has no space, it's just two quotes. So it's basically an empty end statement. The next line down is our second print statement that says, how are you today? And it has an end parameter, which is 5 dashes. So let's print this out. So what we have here is hello A to C Python Academy subscribers, which is what we have here in the initial print statement. Then we have an end statement that equals nothing. What's happened here is this parameter, this style of end parameter, is preventing the new line character from happening. So if you just want to disable the new line character, you can specify the empty string in the end parameter, and it will do the exact same thing in preventing you going to the next line as if you were to put in a space or some other type of string or number or something that would prevent the new line character from happening. And as you can see here, we have a space, but that space here is taken here at the end of the string. So I just added a space here because we did not have one here at the end parameter. And then it immediately prints the next line, which is, how are you today? And as you can see at the end of that print statement, we have the 5 dashes, and there are the 5 dashes at the end. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you found value in it. And if you want more free of charge Python tips, tricks, and tutorials, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in next week's class.